Welcome to today's Transformation Dive here at Earn Flow Zone. Let's get real about something uncomfortable. I mean, really uncomfortable. Something that makes your palms sweat a little. Maybe makes you want to suddenly check your email or decide the cat urgently needs feeding. We're talking about the money monster. Yes, that one. The one lurking in your inbox disguised as a bill, or hiding behind that innocent-looking banking app icon on your phone. Admit it, you've probably seen that icon and felt a tiny pang of dread, or a big wave of nope, not today. You might even treat your financial life like a particularly messy closet. You know it's there, you know you should deal with it, but it's just easier to keep the door shut and hope it magically organizes itself, or better yet, disappears entirely. Good luck with that. It's a classic move, isn't it? The ignore it and it will go away strategy. Except with money, it rarely works that way. Bills don't pay themselves, and bank accounts don't spontaneously fill up like a forgotten pot of gold at the end of a rainbow. This avoidance isn't laziness. It's often rooted in fear. Fear that you don't earn enough, a very common script many people run. Fear that it's all just too complicated. Hello, jargon overload. Or the resigned belief that everything's too expensive. What's the point? You scroll through social media, seeing others seemingly living effortless, abundant lives. The fancy cars, the exotic trips, the perfect homes. And a familiar feeling washes over you. Inadequacy. You start comparing your current reality to their curated highlight reels and feel a surge of "I'll never get there." It's easy to fall into the blame game, too. The economy is terrible, my boss is unfair, student loans are crushing me. It's just bad luck. All valid points in some context, but when they become the only narrative, they trap you. You find yourself stuck in a reactive cycle, waiting for bills to arrive, constantly feeling overwhelmed, perpetually hoping things will magically get better without you having to do anything different. This isn't managing your money. This is letting your money manage you. Or, perhaps more accurately, letting the lack of clear vision and control over your money dictate your decisions, limit your options, and steal your peace of mind. It's like trying to navigate rush hour traffic blindfolded. You're not in control, and it's incredibly stressful. There's this constant, low-grade anxiety humming in the background of your life, making big, important decisions feel impossible, and even small, simple purchases feel tinged with guilt. You feel like a passenger in your own financial life, sitting in the back seat, and frankly, the driver seems to be drunk or asleep at the wheel. It's time to grab the steering wheel. If you're into real, actionable money and mindset content that actually helps you take control, hit like and subscribe. It helps way more than you think and tells YouTube you want to see more videos like this. Drop a comment with where you're watching from or your biggest money habit wins so far. Let's dive in and change the way you think about success. Okay, so you recognize that feeling? That financial flinch? That's the money monster saying boo. And guess what? The primary way it stays powerful is by remaining unseen, shrouded in mystery and avoidance. Think of it like a fitness goal. You know you should work out. You know it would make you feel better. But looking at your dusty running shoes in the corner just fills you with dread. So you avoid the gym, avoid the shoes, and stay stuck. Money is often the same. You avoid looking at your bank account, avoid opening statements, avoid thinking about budgets because the thought of it feels heavy, overwhelming, or maybe confirms a fear you already have. The core concept here is simple, yet terrifyingly difficult for many. The first step to gaining control is simply looking. Not judging, not fixing everything at once, just seeing what is actually going on. It's like turning the light on the monster under the bed. Often, it's just a pile of clothes. Here's a surprising truth about money avoidance. The actual numbers are usually less scary than the anxiety about the numbers. Our imagination about how bad things might be is often far worse than the reality when we finally face it. People often underestimate the sheer relief that comes from simply knowing the truth, no matter how unpleasant it is initially. It's the difference between imagining you have a cavity that needs root canal surgery versus finally going to the dentist and finding out it's just a simple filling. The uncertainty is the real pain. A common myth is that if you ignore a financial problem, it will somehow resolve itself or someone else will fix it. The reality is the opposite. Ignored financial issues tend to compound, like dust bunnies gathering under that bed, growing into a formidable, fuzzy creature. The surprising habit that challenges this common thinking? Simply commit to looking at your primary bank account balance every single day for 1 week. Not doing anything with it, just looking. This seemingly small, almost laughably simple habit changed everything for me and for countless people I've coached. It breaks the cycle of avoidance. It starts to desensitize you to the initial dread. It's like dipping your toe in the cold water instead of just staring at the ocean, wishing you were already warm on the beach. You start building a tiny muscle of financial courage. Ask yourself, what is the real fear holding you back from opening that app right now? Is it the fear of not enough? The fear of confirming your worst suspicions? Whatever it is, identifying that specific fear is the first step towards disarming it. The cause and effect here is crystal clear. Avoidance causes anxiety and keeps you powerless. Facing the numbers, even just acknowledging them, is the first step towards gaining control, which inevitably leads to reduced anxiety and increased peace of mind. It's the shift from passenger to pilot, even if you're just learning to taxi down the runway. All right, so building on that initial spark of transformation, let's dive into the absolute bedrock principle that underpins everything else we'll discuss. Here's the first, most crucial truth you need to internalize. You are the CEO of your financial life, period. It's not your boss who dictates your financial ceiling. It's not the government's policies that solely determine your wealth. And it's not the volatile stock market that holds all the power. While these external factors exist, you are the ultimate decision maker. You are the strategist, the one accountable for the profit and loss of your personal economy. Think of your life as a business. Your income is the revenue, your expenses are the costs, and your savings and investments are the growth strategy. This isn't just some catchy metaphor. It's a fundamental, powerful shift in perspective that unlocks control. Seriously, if you owned a physical business, would you just shrug and ignore its finances? Would you simply hope that revenue miraculously exceeded expenses at the end of the month? Would you actively avoid looking at the actual numbers because they might be a little scary? Maybe stuffed in a drawer somewhere? Of course not. Any responsible business owner faces the numbers head-on, analyzes the performance, makes strategic decisions based on data, and course corrects as needed. Your personal finances deserve, absolutely demand, this exact same level of respect, attention, and executive control. Now, here's the surprising insight, the one that might initially sting but ultimately empowers. The biggest barrier to making real financial progress usually isn't some complex economic hurdle out there. It's the internal, often subconscious, refusal to step into this powerful CEO role for your own life. It's the abdication of responsibility. Because let's be honest, facing financial realities can feel overwhelming, confusing, or even downright scary. People often think, "Oh, I'm just bad with money," or "I'll deal with it later," effectively handing the reins over to default habits or external circumstances. It's like the CEO deciding it's just easier to let the intern run the company budget meeting because, spreadsheets. That's where the block is. But here is the incredible, liberating truth. Claiming that responsibility, choosing to sit in the CEO's chair, is exactly where your power explodes. It's the pivotal moment you stop being a passive passenger on a journey determined by others or by inertia, and you actively start steering the ship towards the destination you choose. It's the cause effect. Embracing responsibility, cause, leads directly to control, clarity, and the ability to make impactful changes, effect. Abrogating it, cause, leads to feeling helpless and stuck, effect. This one habit changed everything for me. For the next 7 days, make a conscious effort. Every single time you think about money, whether it's contemplating a purchase, looking at your bank balance, or thinking about a bill, pause and frame it as a decision you are making as the CEO of your life. Ask yourself, explicitly, is this decision aligned with the company's long-term goals? What are those goals? Financial stability? Growth? Freedom? This simple question shifts you from reacting to acting with intent. Try this for a week and just observe how your perspective and eventually your actions begin to change. Okay, so you've made the decision to take control. You're ready to shift your mindset. But where do you even begin to build this financial future? You start by understanding where you are. Think of yourself as the CEO of your own life and finances, which, by the way, you are. A good CEO knows their company's numbers cold. They can tell you the revenue, the expenses, the assets, and the liabilities without blinking. But do you? Can you state your current net worth right now? Can you accurately estimate your total monthly expenses within $100 without pulling up a spreadsheet or bank statement? For most people, the honest answer is no. And hey, if that's you, please hear this. That is absolutely okay. The key is that you're here, ready to change it. Your personal balance sheet is fundamentally a snapshot, a financial selfie taken right this moment. It asks, what do you own? These are your assets, the cash in your bank accounts, the value of your investments, stocks, bonds, crypto, any equity in real estate, maybe the rough value of your car if you own it outright. And what do you owe? These are your liabilities: credit card balances, student loans, car loans, mortgages, personal loans. Ignoring this crucial snapshot is like a CEO refusing to look at the company's profit and loss statement. Are you profitable, or are you drowning in debt? You simply don't know until you look at the numbers. People often underestimate the power of this simple act. Why? Because it feels uncomfortable. It might even feel downright scary, especially if you suspect the numbers aren't going to be pretty. You might feel shame, regret, or anxiety about what you'll find. But here's the surprising insight, the truth that changed everything for me and countless others. Simply knowing the numbers, even if they reveal a negative net worth or a mountain of debt, immediately begins to reduce anxiety. How does that work? It replaces vague, shapeless fear the kind that keeps you up at night, worrying about money problems, with concrete, defined reality. It's like turning on the lights in a room you thought was haunted. You see the scary monster is just a pile of clothes on a chair. Once you see the pile of clothes, you know what you're dealing with. You have a starting point. You can decide to tidy up the room. Not knowing creates paralysis because you don't know where to direct your energy. Knowing, even the worst-case scenario, gives you the clarity needed to form a plan. It turns a nebulous dread into a solvable problem. It transforms "I'm bad with money" into "my net worth is X and my liabilities are Y. Okay, now I know what the mission is." This awareness is the absolute foundational step. Without it, any financial strategy is just guesswork. Your action today, right now, is simple but powerful. Find your net worth. It doesn't need to be perfect to start. Grab a piece of paper, a note on your phone, or a simple spreadsheet. List your assets, rough bank balances, approximate investment values, estimate property value if you own. Then list your liabilities, total credit card debt, total loan balances. Add up the assets, add up the liabilities, and subtract liabilities from assets. Assets minus liabilities equals net worth. Just get the number. This one foundational habit changed everything for me because it forced me to face reality, not fear. Ask yourself, what's really stopping you from finding that number right now? Is it the fear of what you might find? Remember, knowing is power, and it's the first step out of the scary room. Okay, you've started to define your revenue streams, where the money is coming in. Now, let's flip the ledger and look at your profit and loss statement, focusing intensely on the loss side, your expenses. This is where the rubber meets the road, and frankly, where most people hit a blind spot wider than a superhighway. You probably have a decent handle on your main income sources, but ask yourself, honestly, do you know exactly where every single dollar goes once it leaves your account? Most people track the big stuff: rent, mortgage, car payment, major bills. That's like knowing the continents on a map, but having no idea about the cities, roads, or even the local corner store. It's the small, seemingly insignificant transactions that create the financial equivalent of death by 1,000 cuts. Those daily coffees, the spontaneous online purchase when you were bored, the subscriptions you signed up for with a free trial and totally forgot about. Seriously, check your bank statements for those ghost subscriptions. It's like finding hidden treasure, or rather, stopping hidden leaks. These aren't just minor drains. They're the tiny holes that can prevent your financial ship from ever leaving the harbor, no matter how much revenue you bring in. For someone just starting out, this might feel overwhelming, like trying to count every grain of sand on a beach. For a mid-earner, it's often about spotting lifestyle creep, those small upgrades that quietly add up. And for the ambitious builder, it's critically analyzing if every business expense is truly generating ROI or just acting as a sneaky cash drain. Here's the surprising truth, the mindset shift that changes everything. Tracking your spending isn't about judgment. It is absolutely not about beating yourself up because you bought that fancy gadget or ate out too much last month. Think of yourself as a financial scientist right now. Your spending isn't a moral failing. It's simply data. Knowing you spent $400 on takeout last month isn't a sign you're bad with money. It's just a neutral data point. It's information that gives you power. Data is the fuel for strategic decision-making. Without this data, you're flying blind, trying to navigate towards financial goals using guesswork. When you know exactly where your money is flowing, you can make conscious, empowered choices about where you want it to flow instead. This clarity is the first step towards control. So, your concrete action for this section, your mission, should you choose to accept it, and you absolutely should, for the next 3 days, just 3 days, that's it. Track every single dollar you spend, and I mean every single dollar. That pack of gum? Track it. That parking meter fee? Track it. The coffee? Track it. Use whatever method is easiest for you. A simple notebook, a note-taking app on your phone, a spreadsheet, or a dedicated expense tracking app. There are tons of great free ones. The method doesn't matter. The diligence does. No exceptions, no excuses. Don't analyze it yet. Don't judge it yet. Just collect the data. See where your revenue is really going. This one short habit can reveal more about your financial reality than years of just guessing. Okay, now that we've touched on understanding where your energy, and therefore your money, really goes, let's talk about giving it purpose. Because honestly, for most people, the word budget is about as welcome as a leaky faucet in the middle of the night. You hear budget, and you immediately picture financial handcuffs, restriction, deprivation. It feels like being on a strict diet where you're constantly scanning the pantry, feeling guilty just looking at a cookie. People genuinely believe a budget is this joy-sucking tool designed purely to tell you no. But here's the surprising truth. The complete flip side. A budget isn't a diet. It's your business plan. Think about it. If you were running a company, even a lemonade stand, you wouldn't just hope money appeared and randomly spent it. You'd have a plan. You'd allocate capital to ingredients, your bills, maybe some new signage, investments, and you'd definitely earmark some profit to reinvest and grow your savings goals. Your income? That's your company's revenue. Your budget? That's your strategic plan for allocating that revenue, your most valuable resource, to achieve your most important goals, your personal vision. Every CEO gives every dollar a job, right? They don't let it sit idle or fritter away unnoticed. They direct it towards departments, research and development, growth initiatives. Your budget does exactly the same thing. It gives every single dollar you earn a specific role, a mission aligned with your priorities, your values, your dreams. It's the structure that turns abstract wishes into concrete actions. The incredible, almost counterintuitive result: a budget built on your goals is profoundly liberating, not restrictive. When you know you've already allocated funds for essentials, tackled your debt strategy, and put money towards your savings goals, let's say that dream vacation fund or your investment account, something magical happens. You gain permission. Permission to spend guilt-free on the things you actually value, whether that's a nice dinner out, a new hobby, or concert tickets, because you've budgeted for it. The question shifts from a vague, anxiety-ridden, "Can I even afford this?" to a clear, empowering, "Is this purchase aligned with my financial plan?" It's like having a clear map. You know where you're going, your goals. You know the paths you need to take, your allocations, and you know you've accounted for pit stops and even detours, your spending on fun. This isn't about saying no to everything. It's about saying yes deliberately to the things that truly matter to you, while ensuring the critical stuff is covered. It's about conscious choice, not accidental spending. So your action step right now is simple, actionable, and powerful. Create your simple budget. Don't overcomplicate it. Start with your total income for the month. Then, list your major spending categories based on the tracking we talked about, or just your best estimate if you haven't tracked yet. Rent/mortgage, utilities, food, transport, debt payments, insurance, and importantly, a category for your savings goals. Allocate amounts to each category based on your track data or estimates. This is your draft business plan. It's not perfect, but it's a start. It's the first step in directing your financial energy instead of just reacting to it. Try this one habit. Seeing your income and allocations laid out can be a profound shift. Okay, let's expand Section 6, Setting the CEO's Vision. All right, so you've maybe started tracking your money, getting a handle on where it's going. Now, imagine you're the CEO of the most important enterprise you'll ever run, your own financial life. Every successful business starts with a vision, a North Star guiding every decision. Without that vision, a business simply drifts. Guess what? Your financial life without clear goals does exactly the same thing. It's like trying to drive across the country without picking a destination. You might enjoy the scenery, but you'll never arrive anywhere specific, and you'll likely waste a ton of gas. Are you just saving money, or are you saving for a specific, tangible outcome? Are you building that crucial emergency fund? Are you meticulously planning for a down payment on your first home? Maybe aggressively paying off high-interest debt feels like the absolute top priority right now. Or perhaps you're starting to seriously eye retirement planning, or even ambitious goals like funding a future business venture or building significant passive income streams. What does financial success truly look like and feel like to you? It's rarely just about hitting a certain number in your bank account, though numbers are part of it. It's often more about the feeling, a sense of security, the freedom to make choices, the lifestyle you can confidently live, or the ability to support those you care about. For someone just starting out, defining success might mean having 3 months of expenses saved. For a mid-career earner, it could be hitting a significant investment portfolio milestone. And for those building ambitious financial empires, it might involve structuring complex asset flows. Here's the really surprising insight, the one that shifts everything. Actively defining this clear, compelling financial vision makes the day-to-day choices. Sticking to a budget when that shiny new gadget is tempting, delaying gratification on a purchase, or putting extra cash towards debt instead of a night out. Infinitely, effortlessly easier. Seriously, when you know exactly why you're saying no to something now, or why you're pushing hard on a specific action, the sacrifice doesn't feel like deprivation. It feels like a powerful, strategic investment in your future self, the person living that defined vision. Your vision isn't just a nice-to-have, it is your absolute, non-negotiable why. It's the fuel for discipline, the filter for decisions, and the motivator when things get tough. Trying to build financial habits without this anchor is like trying to build a house without blueprints. You might get some walls up, but it won't stand strong or serve its ultimate purpose. People often underestimate the sheer power of this mental clarity. They jump into budgeting apps and saving plans without ever defining the finish line, and then wonder why they lose motivation. This one habit changed everything for me, and for countless others I've seen transform their financial lives. Stop thinking vaguely about doing better with money. Start thinking like the CEO you are. What are the top 1 to 3 critical objectives for the next 1 to 5 years? Ask yourself, what's stopping you from putting these into concrete terms? Your action right now, Your CEO directive. Write down your top 1 to 3 most important financial goals. And here's where the specificity comes in. Don't just write, save money. That's like saying a business goal is make profits. Be specific. Make them SMART if you know that framework. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound. Instead of pay off debt, write pay off $15,000 credit card debt by November 30th, 2025. Instead of save for a house, write save $40,000 for a down payment fund by July 1st, 2026. Putting a number and a date on it turns a wish into a target. Write these goals down where you will see them often. This vision is the strategic plan that dictates all the tactical moves that follow. Sometimes, steering your financial ship feels less like smooth sailing and more like navigating a stormy sea. You have to make decisions that feel, well, tough. This is where you channel your inner CEO and embrace the strategy of making tough cuts. Think about a company facing headwinds. A CEO doesn't just hope things get better. They analyze, they strategize, and sometimes they have to make difficult calls. They cut unprofitable divisions. They renegotiate tough contracts. They ruthlessly reduce unnecessary expenses. In your personal finance life, this looks remarkably similar. It means confronting those uncomfortable truths about where your money is really going. Are you still paying for that streaming service you haven't opened in 6 months? That gym membership you swore you'd use daily but now just sends you guilt-inducing emails? These are the unprofitable divisions of your personal budget. Maybe it's time to renegotiate your phone plan or find cheaper alternatives for things you use every day. It definitely means having potentially hard conversations about shared expenses with a partner or roommates. This isn't about deprivation for its own sake. It's about efficiency, about optimizing your resources just like a savvy CEO would. But perhaps the most critical tough cut involves facing high-interest debt. Credit card balances, payday loans, certain personal loans. These are the most expensive loans on your balance sheet, eating away at your cash flow with exorbitant interest. Ignoring them is like a company pretending its most expensive debt doesn't exist. It cripples your ability to invest, save, or even just breathe easy. Tackling this debt head-on feels daunting, uncomfortable, maybe even a little scary. You might feel like you're depriving yourself now to throw money at a problem that feels overwhelming. Here's the surprising insight, though, the one that often gets buried under the discomfort. Delaying these tough cuts almost always costs you significantly more in the long run, not just financially, but in terms of mental and emotional energy. That ignored subscription is a tiny leak, but ignored leaks add up. That high-interest debt? It's a financial vampire, sucking wealth from your future every single day you don't aggressively attack it. People often underestimate the insidious cost of procrastination when it comes to financial pain points. You might save yourself a moment of discomfort today, but you guarantee yourself a mountain of stress and lost potential tomorrow. Think about the cause and effect here. Every dollar you don't spend on an unnecessary expense, or every dollar you free up by crushing high-interest debt, is a dollar you can redirect. It's a dollar that can go towards your emergency fund, towards investments that grow your wealth, towards saving for that down payment, or simply towards giving you more breathing room and peace of mind. It's not just about cutting, it's about redirecting that flow towards your actual financial vision, towards growth, security, or freedom. Making these tough decisions isn't a punishment, It's an act of financial self-care and strategic empowerment. Ready to make a cut? Try this for a week. Identify just one expense you know, deep down, isn't genuinely serving your financial goals. Maybe it's that extra streaming service or the daily purchased lunch habit that adds up quicker than you think. Or maybe it's time to finally call that credit card company. Ask yourself, what's stopping you from making this specific cut? Then, make a concrete plan to reduce or eliminate it starting this week. This one habit, this willingness to make the uncomfortable but necessary cuts, truly changed everything for me. It's your turn to reclaim that financial power. Okay, so we've talked about navigating your money flow, getting a handle on where things stand. Now let's shift gears dramatically. We're moving from managing what you have to growing what you can have. Think about a successful business. What do CEOs constantly look for? Growth. They pour resources into R&D, scout new markets, invest heavily in talent development. You need to bring that same entrepreneurial, growth-oriented mindset to your personal financial life, right here in the Earn Flow Zone. This is Section 8, Investing in Growth. And growth for you, financially and personally, really comes in two powerful dimensions. First, investing in your ability to earn more. This means skills, education, whether formal courses, online learning, or just deep dives into a subject. Perhaps dedicating time to building a profitable side hustle. It's the human capital investment. Like a company upskilling its employees or developing a new product line. Investing in you increases your potential value in the marketplace. Maybe you're learning advanced Excel, getting certified in something niche, or building a portfolio for freelance work. This upfront investment in your knowledge and skills is foundational. It directly increases your potential income ceiling. The second dimension is investing your money so it grows for you, even while you sleep. This is where the real magic of compounding and passive income streams begin to take shape. We're talking about setting money aside in savings accounts. Yes, even small ones count. Consistently contributing to retirement funds like a 401k or IRA. Exploring entry points into the stock market via index funds or ETFs. Or maybe, for the long-term builders, looking at real estate down the line. The specific path for investing your money adapts to where you are on your journey. For a true beginner, investing might simply mean building that first $500 or $1,000 emergency savings buffer. For a mid-earner, it's likely about maximizing those retirement contributions, especially if there's an employer match, literally leaving free money on the table if you don't. And for the ambitious builder, it evolves into strategic asset allocation, diversifying across different asset classes, and perhaps even investing in your own business ventures. But here's the truly surprising insight. The often underestimated superpower in this whole growth equation: time. Time is your single most powerful asset when it comes to growth, specifically because of compounding. It's the magic multiplier. Think of it like planting a small tree seedling. It looks tiny now, but with consistent care and time, it grows into a massive, fruit-bearing tree. Your money behaves the same way. Small amounts, saved or invested consistently over years, given enough time in the market, can grow exponentially. The gains start making gains. It's the financial equivalent of a snowball rolling down a long hill. It starts small, but gathers speed and mass the further it goes. The brutal, sometimes painful truth is the cost of not investing, even small amounts, early on. It's not just the small contribution you missed. It's the lost compounding on that contribution over years, even decades. It's like deciding not to plant the tree. You don't just miss the tree this year, you miss the entire future forest it could have helped create. Procrastinating on this feels harmless in the short term, right? That extra $20 or $50 feels better in your pocket now. But future you is silently weeping, looking at the massive difference that consistent, early investment could have made. Don't make future you cry over preventable lost gains. So, let's put this insight into action right now. This is the concrete step that can change everything. Your action is to set up an automatic transfer of any amount. Seriously, even just $5 or $10. From your primary checking account to a separate savings or investment account every single payday. Make it automatic. Set it and forget it. It's the simplest way to ensure growth is happening consistently, without relying on willpower. Try this for a month or two. Just see how easily that small amount accumulates when you don't even have to think about it. Ask yourself, what tiny automatic step can I take today that will put compounding time on my side? This one habit changed everything for me. The shift from intentional saving to automatic growth is a game changer. And building this kind of automatic discipline leads directly into understanding the power of consistency. Okay, here is the expansion for Section 9. Adhering to your structure and requirements. Hashtag Section 9. Title: Building the Executive Team. Okay, let's talk about a crucial shift in perspective as you build your earn flow zone. Recognizing you don't have to go it alone. Even the most successful solo entrepreneur, and in your personal finances, you are the CEO of You Inc., needs an executive team. Think of it like a pro athlete who has coaches, trainers, and nutritionists. They aren't just winging it. They have a support system. This executive team for your personal finances might look different depending on where you are on your journey. It could be something as simple yet incredibly powerful as talking openly about money with a trusted friend or family member who has a good head for finances. It might mean actively seeking out a mentor, someone who's navigated the financial waters you're currently in or aspire to sail. And yes, your team absolutely includes the silent advisors, like the authors of personal finance books that resonate with you, the creators of podcasts that teach you something new every episode. Hey, maybe like this one you're listening to right now, or even educational YouTube channels. As your financial life gets more complex, it could eventually involve working with a qualified financial advisor who can provide tailored, expert guidance. People often underestimate the value of external perspectives when it comes to money. We internalize societal pressures to keep our finances private. And while discretion is wise, complete isolation isn't helpful. Trying to figure everything out purely by intuition, or worse, by ignoring it completely because it feels overwhelming, is like trying to build a skyscraper without architects or engineers. You might lay a few bricks, but it's unlikely to stand tall or be structurally sound. Learning from others' successes and mistakes, getting different viewpoints on a decision, and knowing when to seek expert advice are not signs of weakness. They are characteristics of a smart, strategic leader of their own life. And here's a genuinely surprising insight that challenges a lot of common thinking. Financial literacy isn't some innate talent you're either born with or not. It is unequivocally a skill. Just like learning to ride a bike, bake a cake, or code a website. You weren't born knowing how to read a balance sheet, understand compound interest, or navigate the world of investments. Nobody was. These are learned skills, acquired through study, practice, and, yes, sometimes making mistakes. Relying solely on intuition, crossing your fingers, or avoiding learning because it feels too complicated is a recipe for poor decisions and stunted growth. It's like wanting to be a chef, but refusing to learn how to chop an onion because it makes you cry. You can acquire this knowledge over time, piece by piece. The action this week ties directly into building this core skill and leveraging your executive team resources. Commit to spending just 30 minutes this week actively learning about personal finance. That's less time than an average sitcom episode or scrolling through social media. Pick one thing. Read a chapter of a book you've been meaning to get to. Listen to a relevant podcast episode. Again, nudge nudge. Or watch an educational video on a topic you find confusing, like how credit scores work or the basics of investing. Don't just consume it passively. Try to understand one new concept. And here's the crucial part that changed everything for me. Make this 30 minutes of learning a recurring habit. Block it out. Treat it like a non-negotiable meeting with your financial future. By consistently dedicating time to learning, you build this vital skill, reduce anxiety, and empower yourself to make better decisions. You are literally training the CEO of You Inc. and equipping them with the knowledge they need to succeed. Think about the greats, the people who build empires, whether it's a company, a legacy, or massive wealth. CEOs aren't just obsessing over the next quarterly report. They're strategizing for the next 5, 10, even 20 years. They have a vision, a destination, and they understand that getting there isn't going to happen overnight. Building wealth, achieving financial independence, reaching those big, audacious goals you have, that's exactly the same. It's a marathon, my friends. Definitely not a sprint. And recognizing that shifts everything. This long-term game requires a different kind of muscle, patience, unwavering consistency, and the ability to keep your eyes on the prize, your vision firmly in sight, even when things get tough. And let's be honest, there will be tough times. There will be moments where progress feels slower than a dial-up connection, where you question if all these small sacrifices are even making a difference. But this is precisely where the strategy kicks in, because those small, seemingly insignificant actions, saving a little bit extra each month, even when it feels tiny, resisting that impulse purchase that would throw off your budget for the week, making a conscious, smart spending choice even when it's less convenient. These aren't isolated events. They are like tiny seeds planted consistently. And like seeds, watered and nurtured over time, they don't just grow linearly. They compound. The effect of these small, consistent choices adds up in ways that feel almost magical over years. That small monthly saving isn't just sitting there. It's potentially earning interest, or it's freeing up cash flow that prevents debt, which saves you interest. It snowballs. Cause and effect, clear as day, but playing out over a longer timeline. Now here's the surprising insight, the one that might challenge how you've thought about getting ahead financially. Consistency beats intensity almost every single time in personal finance. Seriously. Think about dieting. Is it better to have one perfect, grueling week of eating nothing but kale and chicken, and then falling off the wagon completely? Or is it better to consistently make slightly healthier choices, maybe not perfect, but sustainable, day after day, week after week? The consistent, imperfect approach wins the long game. It's the same with money. A perfect, super restrictive budget that you stick to for maybe a week or two before getting completely overwhelmed and abandoning it? Less effective than an imperfect, flexible budget that you actually follow, month after month, year after year. Why? Because those small, repeatable habits, tracking expenses most of the time, automatically transferring a small amount to savings every payday, saying no to unnecessary debt consistently, these are the real engine of long-term financial growth. They build momentum, they create a foundation, and they compound into significant results over time. Staying focused on this marathon requires you to remember why you're running it. You need to keep that finish line, your financial vision and goals clearly in view. This isn't a set-it-and-forget-it situation. Your action right now from this section is simple but powerful. Put a recurring calendar reminder, monthly, maybe quarterly, whatever feels manageable, to sit down and actually look at your financial vision and goals. Read them. Remind yourself why you started. Adjust if you need to, but crucially, just re-engage. This simple habit ensures you stay aligned with your long-term strategy, keeping you motivated and on track for the marathon ahead. Ask yourself, am I consistently moving towards my vision, or just reacting to the present? Welcome to today's transformation dive here on Earn Flow Zone. Ever feel like your bank account is playing a cruel game of hide and seek with you? Like money disappears faster than free samples at Costco, and you're constantly asking, where did it all go? Let's be real. Sometimes it feels like everything else is conspiring against your financial peace. The economy, that unexpected car repair, the fact that rent keeps going up, but your paycheck, well, you know. But what if the biggest, most impactful variable in your financial life isn't external at all? What if it's sitting right here reading this? If you're into real, actionable money and mindset content, hit like and subscribe. It helps way more than you think. Seriously, it's like giving your financial journey a little high five. And while you're at it, drop a comment with where you're watching from or your biggest money habit win. Love seeing the Earn Flow Zone community grow. Ready to ditch the blame game and step into your power? Let's dive in and change the way you think about success. Okay, so let's talk about something real, maybe a little uncomfortable, but ultimately incredibly freeing. It's the idea that at the end of the day, the success or failure of your financial company, that's you, your life, your dreams, rests squarely on your shoulders. This is the core concept. The buck stops with you. Think of yourself as the CEO of Earn Flow Zone Inc. Your personal finances are the balance sheet. Your spending is operations. Saving is R&D, and investing is long-term strategy. Who is running the show? You are. And just like any CEO, you are ultimately accountable for the results. No one else is going to magically track your spending for you. They aren't going to build your budget, set your financial goals, or make those tough decisions about cutting back on subscriptions or saying no to that impulse buy. It's seductively easy to wish for a bailout, dream of a lottery win. Hey, a girl can dream, right? Or hope for a sudden, unexpected inheritance to solve everything. It's also incredibly easy to blame the system, the economy, or the rich for your financial struggles. And yes, absolutely, external factors exist. They are real, and they can make the path harder. A job loss, a health crisis, systemic inequalities, these are not things you cause. However, here's the surprising insight, the habit that challenges common thinking. Accepting full, complete responsibility for your current financial situation without layering on blame or shame is one of the most incredibly empowering things you can do. It doesn't mean it's your fault that you're struggling because life threw you a curveball. It means that regardless of how you got here, it is now your responsibility to navigate it. You are the captain steering the ship through the storm, even if you didn't cause the storm. This shift in perspective, from "why is this happening to me" to "what can I do about this right now as the CEO," is the moment your power unlocks. Blame looks backward and outward. Responsibility looks forward and inward. Blame makes you a victim. Responsibility makes you an agent of change. It's like realizing you hold the remote control, even if you don't like what's currently playing on the screen. You can change the channel, adjust the volume, or even turn it off and go build something new. The cause and effect are clear. Blame leads to paralysis and resentment. Responsibility leads to action and empowerment. When you own the problem, you also own the solution. It's not about guilt-tripping yourself. It's about empowering yourself. So here's a prompt for action, a habit to try. The next time you face a financial frustration, maybe an unexpected bill, feeling like you're not saving enough, or overspending again, instead of defaulting to blaming the situation, someone else, or even yourself in a shaming way, pause, take a breath. Then ask yourself, as the CEO of my money, what is the strategic move here? What is the next logical, empowered step you can take? Maybe it's reviewing your budget, finding a way to earn a little extra, cutting a non-essential expense, or just educating yourself on your options. This one habit changed everything for me, shifting my focus from the problem creator to the problem solver. Taking ownership isn't always the easiest path, but it's the only one that truly leads to growth. It's about recognizing that you have agency, you have choices, and you have the power to steer your financial ship. It's not about being perfect. It's about being proactive. And as you lean into this responsibility, you'll find that the results in your financial company start to shift. Ultimately, the journey of financial growth isn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet. It's deeply intertwined with who you are, how you see yourself, and the actions you're willing to take. Embracing the fact that the buck stops with you transforms your financial reality because it transforms you. It's a quiet, powerful revolution happening inside your own mind, and the potential long-term benefit is immense. Freedom, security, and the profound satisfaction of building the life you want, brick by financial brick. This deeper insight about money is that it often reflects your internal state, your fears, your beliefs, and critically, your willingness to show up and take charge. In the end, your bank account will catch up to your mindset, not the other way around. So we've journeyed through the landscape of your financial life, from auditing your numbers to crafting your strategic budget, setting a clear vision, making the tough calls, investing for growth, building your knowledge base, and committing to the long game. You've heard the truth, sometimes uncomfortable. You are ultimately the CEO of your financial world. You've seen the all-too-common struggles, the urge to avoid the numbers, the temptation to blame external factors, the feeling of being utterly powerless against mounting debt or stagnant savings. This entire process, remember, isn't about achieving some mythical state of financial perfection overnight. It's fundamentally about progress. It's the shift from being tossed around by circumstance, reacting with anxiety and stress, to standing firmly in a place of intentionality and deliberate control. It's about taking the steering wheel back. Consider for a moment what happens if you don't internalize this lesson. If you decide that being the CEO is too hard, too scary, or just not for you right now, the metaphorical monster under the bed of your finances, that feeling of dread, the unknown, it doesn't just disappear because you ignore it. In fact, it grows. The debt compounds relentlessly, like a garden weed gone wild. The lack of savings leaves you vulnerable and terrified during inevitable emergencies. The missed investment opportunities mean you potentially work longer, harder, and more stressfully than you ever needed to. You remain a passenger in your own life, constantly subject to the whims of circumstance, always feeling like you're playing catch-up, perpetually stressed about money. Your incredible potential remains untapped because financial anxiety is an energy vampire, draining your focus and limiting your choices. You end up living a life far smaller and less fulfilling than you could, all because you haven't claimed your rightful place at the helm. It's like owning a high-performance sports car, but only ever sitting in the passenger seat while someone else drives, often in the wrong direction. But now, step into the alternative reality. What happens when you truly step into your power? What happens when you make the conscious, albeit sometimes difficult, choice to be the CEO of Earn Flow Zone Inc., your personal financial empire? Everything changes. You replace vague fear with concrete data and crystal-clear clarity. You start making deliberate choices that are deeply aligned with your most important goals and values. You build incredible resilience, the kind that shrugs off minor setbacks because you have a plan and you're in control. You start spotting opportunities for growth and saving instead of just seeing overwhelming obstacles. You gain something invaluable: peace of mind. You build unstoppable momentum, that feeling of forward movement that feeds on itself. You stop reacting to the financial future that happens to you and start actively creating the financial future you genuinely want. Will it be perfect? Absolutely not. You'll make missteps. You'll learn lessons the hard way sometimes. But the key difference is you'll be in control, adjusting the course, correcting errors, and always moving forward, not adrift. So are you ready? Truly ready to take that first powerful step? Not just theoretically, but right now. The very first act of the CEO arriving at the office isn't usually signing million-dollar deals. It's opening the books, facing the reality of the current situation. This one habit, simple as it sounds, changed everything for me when I stopped avoiding it. Here is your single concrete action to take today, right after watching this. Open the primary banking app or website you use most often. Just open it. Don't do anything else. Look at your current balance. That number you see? Don't judge it. Don't let the little voice in your head attach fear or guilt or excitement to it. Just see it. Acknowledge it. That's it. You have faced the numbers. You have opened the books. The CEO has just arrived for work. The power is yours to claim, one simple action at a time. In the end, your bank account will catch up to your mindset, not the other way around.